So I'm in one of those sort of swing moments of about 10 minutes or so between one thing and another. Yesterday evening, I went to Brendy's, which is described as an Irish pub, but it's a bar that permits smoking, and I went with my longtime friend Mark Nevin, and I consumed 10 ounces of battered fish and also French fries, together with 3 pints of cider. And I think the fish was probably okay as a choice, but I think in the future I will not consume that much cider. I developed a very acid stomach, and didn't really have anything at the apartment to settle that. And so, sort of mental note, get baking soda because I'm going to need it anyway for other things. And, keep things stocked, like, the things that will give you some ballast. And the other thing is just don't drink cider. I think is sort of my conclusion. I really like it, but one should probably be enough. But sitting there all evening, that was kind of almost an inevitability, and I should have known it before I went. And so between having poor sleep and having been in a place where there was a lot of smoke, I had, it's been kind of a challenging night and morning. Didn't sleep very well, and I have a sore throat. I went to work this morning and at Hammond's Pretzel bakery, and the heating and cooling system is being installed there right now, so that most of the workspaces where I work were filled with other people working. So I stayed there only until 8. Went back to the apartment. I dealt with some emails. I have a form that I need to fill out for members in Discernment. I have to get letters of reference from my pastor, which I'm going to say is Pastor Kathy, from the head of the church council, and I'm not entirely certain who that is. And I also need to send transcripts along with this form when I fill it out. I didn't even download it. I didn't even look at it. I just saw that it had been sent to me and I had to deal with it. I did a little search last night trying to find information about MID, and it's the reason that I'm seeking it as much as anything else is I guess there are 2 parts to it. One is the actual business of discernment, which would be nice to do within the context of the church, and the second is that my financial money mentor, through Moravian Lancaster, recommended that I do that, for the reason that very practical reason that this potentially gives access to funding for seminary training. So, all of this kind of thing inevitably puts me in a position of pursuing discernment and thinking about, what the heck am I doing? And I had an interesting talk after we left Brendy's. We went to Mark's, the other Mark's, to his apartment and talked about, sort of generally what was going on in his life. And, he's had a very, he's never been married. He's had a few steady girlfriends. He's lived with a couple women. On the whole, those haven't been particularly happy experiences. And so, we talked a little bit about that. He says to me, well, now that you're, so to speak, on your own, having lived for about 15 years with my wife, and then lived about 15 years with Erika, now who's next was sort of not exactly what he was saying, but that was sort of the statement or the gist of it. And I need to work through a lot about myself and for myself and on my own, and not as much as I would like to have other people around me. That has also been a big problem. So, and not necessarily the people, although sometimes yes, the people, the choice of people, or what have you. So, but I make those choices, and so I have to investigate why those choices go south, and I can't really do that effectively while making all the same mistakes, which would be pretty likely, I think. So it's only been 3 or 4 months since I was living at Slackwater, and that's a start, but it's only a small portion of, I think, the time that's going to be needed. So I'm reflecting upon some of these things, and there are moments in the past week or so that have been just boring, and there have been some that have been pretty interesting and exciting, and I felt confident and good. But there have also been some moments, I'll say, hours, where I'm really feeling pretty down, and why am I doing this? What good is this going to be? Those kinds of thoughts. And for me, there's an ongoing, not continuous, but sometimes it seems like it's continuous, but there's an ongoing dialogue. I maybe shouldn't say dialogue, but running commentary on my part of what might be described as prayer. Some people would probably want to put it into those terms. It's me trying to confront my understanding of God. And normally when one has a conversation, there's a kind of obvious response. And the response of the divine, I do not expect really to be obvious and like, hey, Mark, this and this. And possibly because I don't expect that, I don't get that. And I have to work things through in a different sort of way. And it doesn't only arise during times of depression, but that certainly is a moment when, there is a fair amount of prayerful consideration that's mixed in with everything else, anxiety and confusion and so on. So there's a bit of where things are today. It's about time to go to Bible study. This morning I couldn't find the study sheet, so I'm going to hope to grab one a little early and review it. I have seen it. I've been looking at it off and on for about a month for what's happening today. I just can't remember which one it is. So the middle ones, there were 5 sessions, and the middle ones all kind of blend together for me in my mind. So fortunately, I don't have to go straight into the Zoom this evening without any kind of prep. I'm going to go to Les's session and see how that goes. So I'm going to go do that now. That'll give me something to focus on.